Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Nondumiso Njangase. For those of you who are new to the channel, please subscribe and also hit the notification bell so that you get notified when there is new content out. And please do know that my videos don't actually constitute as financial advice, so don't take my videos and implement them as they are. Please consult with a person who is registered with the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. So that is a financial advisor or a financial planner who can guide you to say, this is what you need to do with your money, right? So today's video is inspired by the budget speech that was delivered by the Minister of Finance on the 23rd of February. So what the minister said is that National Treasury is proposing something called a two-pot system for retirement funds. So I just want to briefly explain what a two-pot system entails so that you understand what they are proposing. So Mangiti proposing, it means it's not law yet. They are still thinking about issuing this law. So it might happen, it might not happen, right? So don't get too excited about it. So they are saying that South Africans don't save enough for retirement. They're saying also South Africans don't save enough for their short-term needs. So it happens that a person runs into financial trouble. They don't have an emergency fund. They find themselves in debt because they don't actually save, right? So they want to encourage South Africans to save more for retirement by implementing this two-pot system. So what this two-pot system entails is saying, okay, going forward from the date this legislation comes into place. So let's say it comes into place on the 1st of March 2023. I'm making an example. I'm not saying it will come into effect on that date. I'm saying it might not, but let's use that date as an example. So 2023, 1 March comes into when this date hits, contributions that you will make from that date in your retirement fund. So Mangiti retirement fund, I mean your pension fund, provident fund, preservation funds, retirement annuities, all those funds, even government employees pension funds. They're still going to give us more detail or tell us if they want to exclude certain funds, but they're still thinking about including these funds. But I mean, it's still going to be more clear in the future. I'll keep you updated when a new paper comes up about it to say, okay, this is what they're planning on doing. Now it's official, right? Right now it's not official. So they're saying that when the 1st of March hits, that's the example date that I'm making. The 1st of March hits, your contributions in your retirement funds will be in two different pots, right? So there will be a pot that you can access and there will be a pot that you can't access. So the pot that you can access is 1/3. And then the pot that you can't access until you retire is 2/3. So an example is from the 1st of March, you contribute 15,000 rands until maybe until the following year. You contribute 15,000 rands. 1/3 of 15,000 rands is 5,000 rands. So 5,000 rands will go into this pot. And then 2/3 15,000 rands is 10,000 rands. It's going to go into the second pot, right? The preservation pot that you can only access when you reach retirement, right? So that's what's going to happen going forward should this law come into place. And then what that means is that each and every year they are planning on giving you access to this pot, this access port where you can actually access the benefit, right? So if you run into financial trouble, if you're in financial distress, they will say, okay, you can take from this port, but this one you can't touch it. Even when you resign, you can't touch it. You will only be able to touch it when you reach retirement. So another thing that they mentioned is that, remember that with pension funds and provident funds, when you leave employment, you are able, when you resign, you are able to take this money, right, as cash. So because you are able to take this money when you resign, not when you retire, remember that's a different story altogether. When you resign, you are able to take it. That means if employed, employer A, for 5 years, imali ngi-accumulated, ngiya-resign, ngiyayithatha. Employer B, imali ngi-accumulated, when I resign, I take it. I go to employer C. maybe you're doing this for 15 years. Every time you leave your employer, you are taking your money. You are taking your money and using it, and you have nothing saved for retirement. So they're saying, no. When I encourage you to save for retirement by saying, okay, even when you leave employment, you leave employer A and you're going to employer B, the only amount that you're going to be able to access is the 1/3. 2/3, you're only going to get it when you retire. Right? That's the part encouraging you to save for retirement, and the part encouraging you to save for short term, I guess, is this pot, the access pot, where you can take the money. But then another thing that you need to note is that with the money that you have accumulated, let's say maybe I started working in 2015, for example, I started contributing in 2015 up until the 1st of March when the law comes into place. That money that I've accumulated, let's say I have 200,000 rands in my retirement at that time when the law comes into play. The 200,000, I can't touch it. I'll only be able to take it if I resign. So it's going to be in a separate pot. The pot is called the vested. It's called the vested right because it's something that is vested in you since 2015 until now. It's vested in you. So they don't want to actually implement a new law on something that you've already accumulated. It's like, guys, I already made plans with this money that I've accumulated. So you can't now come with a new law and implement this law on this money that I've accumulated. So with that money that you've accumulated for all these years, that money, they are saying that money you only be able to get it because it's a vested right when you do resign from employment, right? But these other monies that I've mentioned, the two different pots, when you resign, you're only going to be able to get the 1/3 and not the 2/3, right? So you need to separate this money into 3 different sections. Number one is the section that you have already accumulated when the law comes, and that section, that first money, let me just use broken English, it's okay. That first money, you will only be able to take it if you do resign, right? But they are also saying, we are thinking of saying, okay, because we understand that people had trouble during the pandemic and they are in financial distress. We are thinking about this. They're thinking long and hard about this. We're not sure if it's going to actually be law or not. But this part, they're saying with the money that you've already accumulated, we are thinking of giving you a once of 10%. So if you have 200,000, I think 10% is what, 20,000. They're going to say, okay, you can take 20,000 as a once off. You don't have to take it that year, but you will have a right to take 10%. What this 200,000 that you've already accumulated, right? Or 25. I think they're saying 25,000 rand or 10%. So between the two, right? So this is the first one. And 2, the contributions that you now are contributing going forward from the date this law starts, 1/3 wakhona, you'll be able to get it anytime, once a year. And when you resign, if you haven't taken it, you can take it. But 2/3, you only get this whether you resign or not, you can't get it until you retire. I hope actually that is clear. So obviously you will be taxed for taking this opportunity if you do take it. But honestly speaking, I discourage it, personally. But I mean, people have different problems, so I can't be insensitive and say you can't take this but what I will actually say is that they even do say in the paper that South Africans don't actually retire comfortably. It means they're saying that about income replacement at retirement is about 25 to 30%. So what that means is that if you were earning 10,000 rands, right, a month, and income replacement yako is 30%, it means now you are earning 3,000 rands a month. So it means lifestyle yako, when you upila with 10,000 rands all these years, and then now let's say you are 60, you are retiring at 60. Now you are earning 3,000 rands. That's a problem if you still have debt, if you still have a bond, if you still have children that require your attention, if you have a lot of expenses, it's still a problem. So it's for me to say that kulo 30% that they are saying people already can only, well, not everybody, obviously it's percentages. Some people can retire comfortably, but most people actually don't actually replace their income fully when they retire. So this means if you do take this opportunity, because you're already not saving enough for retirement, you can replace your income at 30%. You are going to reduce, the income you're going to get drastically if you do that. If you do take this opportunity, you are going to definitely reduce. It means probably when you do retire, you're going to retire with a small amount of money. But maybe they are also taking into account that you won't be taking the money when you change jobs. But you find people who've been in the same job for all their lives, and then at retirement they're still struggling. So for me, I feel like if you are going to take the opportunity because maybe you are in financial distress, let's say they do give us the opportunity to take the 10%. I mean, they still haven't told us whether they're going to say trustees are going to decide whether they need to give you or not. Because I mean, how do you determine whether a person is in financial distress or not? So it's a bit tricky. So we're still going to get more details in the future as to how they're going to allow people to get this. But I feel like if you do take it to pay, let's say you pay debt. If you must take it, it must be debt that is really crippling you. Don't take it to pay a bond. Don't take it to pay a car. Use that money for from your current salary, because those are things that you are using now. And yes, indlu is for the future, I agree, but I feel like imali retirement, the beauty of it is that you put little by little by little by little, but the interest that you get from that money over 30 years, over 40 years is so big compared to you taking that lump sum. Let's say you decide to take let's say you've got a million and you take 10% and it's 100,000. That 100,000 could have actually compounded so much that when you actually reach retirement, it's so huge. So I literally think people must be careful when they have to do this. I mean, I believe guys, let's try and fix our finances now. Let's fix them now. Retirement money is for retirement. It's for the older you, where you are fragile. Sometimes you are sick. You are sick. There's a lot of things happening. You can't work. Your children maybe are still dependent on you. There's still a lot going on at retirement for you to actually not plan for it or actually use the money now. And then later you can't take care of yourself. I know I am a broken record. I know with retirement funds, I will be footy. It's okay. Because I've seen it. I've seen a lot of complaints, people coming to, the funds that they used to contribute to and saying, guys, but you're not paying me enough pension a month. You're not. How can I live on 2,000 rands? How can I live on that amount of money? And then the sad part is that you were not saving enough for retirement. And if you are not saving enough for retirement, you're only going to complain at the time and you're going to suffer. So when the opportunity comes, please think long and hard. If you are in financial distress, try and get yourself out of debt. I know, Utsi, obviously debt is a very complicated thing, but try, and even if it means it takes you 5 years to actually settle that debt, sit for that 5 years and pay that debt, because the future non-dumiso will thank you for that. It will thank, instead of you now at retirement suffering, you no longer have a job. At least now, if you really want to pay off debt and you're not going to create more, finish paying off the debt with the money that is in your salary. And then later on, you are relaxed, you're chilled. So yeah. That's all I wanted to say today. I just wanted to explain what the two-pot system is, and really encourage you to say if it does come into play, because it's still at consultation stage. What that means is that government has National Treasury has given us a consultation paper to say, guys, this is what we're proposing. What do you guys think? So once they've actually taken everybody's comments and decided, they will come up with an actual law to say this is what we are planning on. This is what now we think should be law. Section ban. Right now it's still a paper. Just says we're thinking. It's still thinking, right? When it actually does become like a bill and whatever, and it goes through parliament and then it becomes law, then I want you to be prepared. That's why I'm doing this video very early, so that you think long and hard. Mali retirement, guys, is for retirement. Let's not create future problems for ourselves and make our children suffer having to take care of us while we could solve our problems right now. So yeah, please be careful and please be wise when it comes to your money. And yeah, see you on my next one.